Very good afternoon to my all dear students, those who are listening to my class. Myself, Parthu said. I hope all of you guys are doing well during this pandemic of COVID-19. And today I'm just going to discuss one of the topics called Indian financial system, which is part of your finance subjects related to BBA, BComs, MBA, MComs, all the students. Today let me discuss these topics in a brief manner. What is financial system? It is a system which connects the savers and the borrowers. Try to mobilize or channelize the funds in different ways, different channels between the one side of ultimate savers, one side, the other side, the ultimate borrowers. Now the financial system can be divided into four categories. One side is the financial institutions. Then second, you have the financial markets. Third, you have the financial instruments. And fourth, you have the financial services. Coming to financial institutions. The financial institutions can be divided further into two categories, the regulatory bodies and the other one is financial intermediaries. So regulatory bodies, you have regulators for different industries like banking sector, RBI, you have insurance sector regulator, ARDA, you have regulators for telecom sectors. On the other sides, you have the financial intermediaries. Financial intermediaries are nothing but the institutions like banking institutions and the non-banking institutions. Banking institutions can be divided or classified like you have the commercial banks, like you have the private sector banks, the public sector banks, that is government organized bank. You have cooperative banks. You have foreign banks. And then you have non-financial intermediaries or non-financial banking institutions like you have IDBI, NABARD, you have IFCI, you have state financial corporations, you have LIC, you have UTI, all these non-financial institutions. Basically, differences like banking institutions, they directly deal with the transaction between the ultimate savers and the borrowers. The banking institution, they directly source the money or the capital or funds directly from the savers, the ordinary savers or ordinary customers, whereas the non-financial institution, they borrow or they source money from other financial institutions or banks, not directly from the ultimate savers. So that is part of financial institutions. Next, come to the financial markets. The market is nothing but an organized system where all these institutes come together to exchange the flow of different cash or other forms of investments or different instruments by which the savers and the borrowers channelize their savings and as well as borrowings. So these markets can be divided further into the primary markets and the secondary markets. Primary markets, the markets where the securities or the instruments are issued first time to the savers or investors. So there's a first time new issue of shares or new types of bonds you're issuing. On the other side, you have the secondary market, is nothing but the second hand or which is already existing markets. You have the stock markets where you can purchase and sell the securities. That is the secondary market. In number of times you can purchase and sell, but in the primary market, only first time you purchase, one-sided transactions. Then this market also can be divided into two other ways, that is capital market and money market, based on the maturity or claim period. That can be another division. Then coming to our financial instruments. Instruments are nothing but the mechanism by which you channelize your savings and borrowings. These instruments, like it can be divided into short-term and long-term instruments, or it can be say types of assets or claims. Like you have shares, you have debentures. So these are all instruments. You have like other instruments like savings account, you have term deposits, you have insurance policies, you have mutual funds, you have units, then you have other PFA, post office savings schemes. These are a lot of different types of instruments. I mean, marketable and non-marketable instruments, primary or secondary security. It can also be divided into primary and secondary securities. Primary securities are basically issued by the any organization or corporate bodies or any financial institution to the ultimate savers, whereas the secondary securities are issued only by the financial institutions like banks and other financial institutions. That is secondary securities. And the last part, that is the financial services, are nothing but the activities where these are all our instruments are traded, or the by which we can claim. I mean, say if you are investing in bonds or debentures, you need to claim the interest. If you're investing in shares, you need to get the dividends. If you are making a term deposits into the banks, you need to claim principal and interest. Or if you are making a public provident fund, at the end of the maturity period, you need to get the claim. If you're doing a pension scheme, if you're doing mutual fund scheme, you need to get back the claims. Or if you are purchasing some certain machineries or certain instruments on financing basis, I mean hire purchasing or leasing, or you can do factoring services. That is, I mean, basically giving other third party to claim or to manage your receivables. Then venture capital financing. These are all comes under services part. So this is basically an overview of the Indian financial systems, or the total financial system, which basically connects the one side the ultimate savers and the other side the ultimate the borrowers. So that is what a little bit about the financial system. If you have any doubt, let me know. My